Hey guys, welcome back to the TBR Diaries, part 19. We're just getting into, no, we're halfway through the third shelf. Um, for those that are just joining us, this is a little series where my physical TBR has gotten completely out of control. And in my attempts to kind of go through and organize it and see what I have, I thought I would share the books with you as I go through them. And so this little series was born, and I'm calling it the TBR Diaries. I have two bookcases that have 5 shelves each that are completely full. And I've just started on the first shelf of the third bookcase. And so that's just my physical TBR, the books that are just waiting to be read. And yeah, we are still on the first bookcase, halfway through the third shelf down. So let's get into it. There's 3 books that I want to talk about today. The first book I want to talk about is from an indie author that I found on TikTok, and her name is Whitney Mayoral. And this is her first book, Twisted Pearls. And I'm not really sure what this book about. Let's see what the back says. It says, join 2 best friends who find themselves heartbroken and bitter after divorcing their high school sweethearts. Together, they decide to take the trip they've always dreamed of. What started as a vacation meant to heal their hearts and minds ended how they never could have imagined. One woman leaves with the possibility of new love, while the other woman leaves with an ominous feeling and a chill right to her core. Follow these ladies in a story full of love, heartache, and self enlightenment as they make their journey through life and encounter their biggest fears yet. So I'm not 100% sure what this story is about. Is it a romance? Is it a mystery? Is it, you got a guy with a pew pew on the cover? So who knows what's in here? It sounds a little bit kind of like a thriller, though, like a mystery or something. So I'm excited to get to this. And I do know that with this author, this is her first book. She has, I believe, 4 or 5, I think she's got 5 or 6 books out now. But this is her first one. So I'm curious to get into it and see if I like her style of writing. All right, the second book I want to talk about is one that y'all will recognize. It's pretty popular on social media, and that is When the Moon Hatched. And of course, I got the hardback with the pretty sprayed edges. Also, look at the art. Very nice. This one, I'm not real sure what it's about. I know it's a fantasy romance. It sounds like we have an assassin that for a group of rebels. Looks like maybe she gets betrayed and somehow ends up in imprisoned. And then you've got, looks like a guy that was that lost his great love of his life, and so he killed the king and took his place. Um, and that's all I know about it from the dust jacket cover. But all my friends that have read this have liked it, and it has gotten very high reviews. I have seen some mixed reviews though on social media. Some people think it's a little overhyped. So I'm kind of curious to see where I fall on this, on the spectrum when it comes to this book. But yeah, I it sounds like it's a book that's right up my alley. Hopefully, I'll enjoy it and I'll get to it sometime soon. And then the last book that I want to talk about today is Babel, by R.F. Kuang. Kuang? Kwong? Kwong. I think it's R.F. Kwong. Um, as we all know, my stellar pronunciation skills here. Um, I have no idea what this book's about. I know it has come highly recommended, and it appeals to the academic in me because it is kind of in an academic setting. Um, but I think this falls in the world of kind of historical fantasy. So it looks like it's going to hit on some kind of heavy topics like colonization. Again, my lovely ability to not pronounce words properly. Um, But it says it's a historical fantasy epic that grapples with student revolutions. So that'll be interesting for me to read about. Colonial resistance and the use of language and translation as the dominating tool of the British Empire. Okay. I think I'm going to like this book. I think this is going to speak to the academic in me. I think this is going to speak to the revolutionist in me. I think this is going to speak to a lot of different aspects of who I believe I am. So I am really looking forward to reading this book, and I think I need to bump this one up the TBR. Excuse me. Now the cats are fighting. All right. Well, those were the next three books on my physical TBR. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of them. I'm especially curious what you think about Babel, because, like I said, I think that one is going. I think that has potential to be a 5, if not 6-star read for me. So I have very high hopes for that one. Which also means I might tend to put it off a little bit because I don't want to be disappointed in my high hopes. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments.